What's up, my fellow collectors? This is Isoka. Thank you all for coming back to the channel once again. I really do appreciate everybody that comes by and leaves a comment or just watches the video till the end, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So this is like my 10th time trying to record this video, and just so many things keep happening. I ramble on here or stumble, stuff like that. So hopefully, this time goes well. But this is another sales update video. Not too many purchases this week other than what you see in the background. I purchased a commissioned canvas painting of Rayquaza Gold Star with the blue international background, and the other one is Shiny Tyranitar. So from Neo Destiny. This one came out a lot better in person than the Rayquaza one, and I think honestly that just kind of has to do with maybe some of the white in there. The shine doesn't quite come up as well along with the black. The black and green background versus the blue and light blue background. So I think with the green background it would have been better, which is the US version versus the international one. And that's kind of basically all that I've had arrive in the last week and a half or so. Now with some of these sales that you'll see, I'm using those funds to pick up one big card and a complete EX set. And so I will show those at some point. I think I want to get a little further along with a lot of these cards and get to a certain point. From there, I'll feel comfortable sharing these cards just because I just haven't shown most of these cards and where they've come from and kind of what I've been working on behind the scenes. So I haven't shown a lot of big cards and what I've been buying and things like that from a personal collection, but I have shown what I've been buying to kind of flip and build that capital to buy the cards that I want for my collection. So apart from that, just the reason I started buying these canvases, which I'm going to have hopefully 16 or 20 made. I'm not sure whether I want to do 4x4 or 5x4, just because they're I mean, if we look at a card right here, these things are pretty big. So that's what she said. And though basically these are going to be things that I can display on the wall and things that I can enjoy and see the artwork, because the cards are for the most part locked up in a bank, and I'm even considering sending them to PWCC just to kind of have them safe and secure. They've gotten to the price point that it just seems kind of ludicrous to how valuable some of these cards have become. And for some of these rarer PSA 10 EX cards, some of these set cards, I don't see the value really dropping that much and potentially even going higher in the future. So that's why I can't justify keeping them at home like I used to, when I was going to school before or things like that. I can't justify having, these things in a storage area and hidden away. It's previously I think I took a picture with my pit bull when she was a lot younger, and I covered her in all 27 PSA 10 gold stars, and it was such a ridiculous thing, and that was worth what, 25,000 back then. That complete set nowadays is worth upwards of 230 to 250,000. And there's some cards that are probably there's probably 3 or 4 cards that are worth almost as much as the whole gold star collection was 5 years ago when I had it. So I honestly just can't justify keeping the cards physically at home anymore. So that's kind of why I decided to start picking these up, so I can have them on display and enjoy the artwork. And who knows what happens in the future. If these cards go up even more, at that point it just feels insane to have that much value in cards. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what you would do with, say, $1 million, $2 million worth of cards if a lot of these things go up there over the long term. So, regardless of what happens in the future, at least I'll have these paintings to have up and things that I can enjoy the artwork with. So, just kind of some things that I was thinking about and what I was buying and what kind of arrived. But what I did sell for the week is a stack of cards. These I sold to purchase some a PSA 10 complete EX set and a PSA 10 low pop card for the EX series. So that's what I purchased, and let's see what I sold. So these two were sold on E4. So somebody messaged me, they saw my eBay page and they wanted these cards for their collection, and so they made an offer, and I was like, that's actually a really fair offer. I'm just going to accept it. So I think I sold these for about 175 each, or I think 325 for the pair. So obviously, compared to what I paid, really happy with that. It's a good price. These were from an Instagram, actually one more eBay sale. This was 140, and I think this came with one of the two EX Deoxys sets that I purchased. And so in reality, those sets were, I think, $400 and $450. And there was nearly a complete regular set and along with a complete reverse set. So, I mean, this card was $5, and with grading, it's like $12. And so, it's $128 minus fees. So, you're looking at over $100 profit again for this card, and I really can't complain at that. I still have hundreds more like that, and most might get 8s, some might get 9s, but the grading price has gone up. So I'm kind of debating on sending a lot of those in. After I made a deal for one of the cards that I'll eventually show that I keep promising is I did an Instagram sale, which for the most part, I think the more you do them, the better they go, because I rarely did them until I needed them. But then I started doing them on a more frequent basis, and I started getting more and more sales. I had asked friends to kind of share the posts and things like that, and I'm not a big person to kind of, you'll see people on Instagram, like somebody gave you a bunch of likes or somebody subscribed, and people will screenshot it and be like, hey, thank you for the support. And I'm weird with social media, and so I don't do that. So, and I don't usually do like try to give people stuff to give you shout outs and things like that. So I don't really do those things, but some of those things work. If you talk to friends and have them give you a sort of a shout out, or you're doing a sale, ask them if to do your favorite and share it. So I've been trying to improve on that a little bit, just because I am kind of stubborn and I don't like to play some of those games, but I know that in the end, like this sale, this was $275. Somebody offered me $2,100 for the cards that I'm about to show you. So Sabrina's Gengar with a swirl. And yeah, so just posting stories and doing things on a consistent basis, which I think if you're always doing things on a consistent basis, after a while, you're basically going to have a good opportunity that's going to come by. It's like where luck is basically where opportunity meets preparation or something like that. So if you're always, consistency or things like that, and so if you're always doing it, eventually there's going to become an opportunity that's going to come by and that's going to allow you to succeed. So I think that's something I've been trying to work on a little bit with these social media and YouTube and things like that. Obviously I don't do any editing or other things like that, so it doesn't come across as well as I'd like, or as well as some of the other videos that I do enjoy watching. But, sometimes you just got to do the content and just be consistent, and hopefully you grow and, things take off from there. Eevee and Snorlax. So I think, these sold for around $325 each. Or maybe this one was a little cheaper and this one was a little higher. Again, it was a deal. Somebody, a friend referenced me to somebody else, and this person was like, "Hey, I want these 5 cards. Offer you $2,100." It's a little cheaper than I would have liked to have gotten individually, and plus, I didn't want to sell these 2 cards. There were things that I was looking to hold on to and have a few extra copies, but it just didn't happen. So I ended up having to sell these for a very, very hard to acquire card for the collection. So. Eventually I'll explain and show that. So these last 2, this was $550 and this was $700. I believe this Articuno, what is this one? This one is $511. So I believe this was my regular submission one. So that came from the Fire Red Leaf Green set that I purchased, where I had 2 PSA 10s, I think the birds, and so I think I kept the other copy in the 4 series just because most of my cards seem to be in the 4 series. And so I think this card in general costed me about $25, as part of the set and things like that. And so I sold it for $700. So that's a very, very good profit in return. And then this one, I think I paid $200 for this one, and I sold it for $550. So a little more than doubling of the money that I spent originally, but this one, obviously from 25 to 700, that's 4 times out. That's a 28 times your what I paid for it. So 28 times return. And I think sometimes people miss the opportunities to do some of these middle cards. They're always looking at these big cards and hoping that hits a 10, because this, a 10 is like $5-6 grand or more, and people are always hoping to hit these cards, instead of these cards, always looking at it. So sometimes there's opportunity to be found in that middle ground where things like these hollows, these things don't get as much attention, but sometimes that little profit over time builds and allows you to buy the bigger cards, which sometimes often hold their value and also can grow. You'll see those bigger spikes with those low pop cards, very popular cards, more vintage EX Wizards of the Coast cards. If that's a strategy that you're looking to do. For me, I'm willing to take a little bit less money, sell these cards that I've already, some of these, doubled or 28 times return on the card, and I'm putting it into a personal collection card. So eventually at some point, those funds will become things that go into, say, hopefully, a house, retirement, things like that. So first, building back the collection this year, and then after that, using those funds to hopefully turn this into a nice side business and be able to do things with it, and vacation like I used to when I was going to college. Because although I am finishing up school right now, technically I have like 3 jobs and school full time, and I do some other stuff, try to take Spanish classes as well in addition to my regular classes. You pay somebody for a lesson and you talk with somebody from some other country. italki, it's a really good app. But yeah, when I was going through college before, I paid my way in the tuition with Pokemon cards. I collected whatever money I had left over, I used to pay off my tuition. So that's how I got my degree, and hopefully this time around, I'll do something smarter than sell everything and buy a Corvette, pay off my debt and my tuition, which in the long term, you got college free. I traveled around the US a little bit, got to go to Worlds in Anaheim, meet quite a few folks. And overall, I just had a great experience and a great time, and I was my own boss. I was able to study and get good grades, and it paid off. So hopefully this time around, that benefit of having a second job or a side hustle like that, where, say I'm doing personal training and I get out in the evening, I'm done training clients, I look over, there's 3 or 4 cards that somebody put an offer on. Sometimes I counter, sometimes I'm in a good mood and I accept the lower price. And, it's nice. I go to bed or I wake up and somebody wants a card on Instagram, E4, YouTube, things like that. So it's nice, it's enjoyable, and it's kind of nice to have that sort of flexibility, because technically with Pokemon, I would make more than I do with my other 2 jobs if I just pocketed the money. But for the meantime, I'm putting that money back into the hobby. But hopefully at some point I want to do this nice side hustle, and, who knows, maybe I'll do something like Danny Fantup or ZNG, where, this ends up buying, a house. Maybe not in California. I think Z is in Arizona, Danny's in like Idaho, and houses there are anywhere from 150 to 300,000. But in California, houses are like $500,000 up to $800,000 for the similar homes that you would get over there. So that's my ramble. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's sale and purchase video. A lot of things going on, even though I still resist showing them. So if you've made it this far, thank you. Hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out.